Hi everybody, we've made it to week 14. Let's give ourselves a hand. Yay! We're gonna make it. It's just this week, we have a big 9 days off, and then we come back and do our final week and then get ready for the final that we have in here. And I'll remind you, we have to have a final. It's the law. Actually, it's more of a regulation and a rule that we have to meet in here, have a final, and that's where we're going to do our impromptu speech. So we'll be talking about that when we come back. However, what we're doing today is getting into the final speech before we break for Thanksgiving. I know everybody needs a break. I walk through the nursing building every day before I come over here. And early in the semester, the nurses are all bubbly and chattery, and they're all chatty, and they're talking to each other, and everybody seems to be happy. And then about halfway through the semester, it kind of calms down a little bit. They start to look a little more serious. And now I just walk through, and they look worn out. It's too much, really, to go these 13, 14 straight weeks without getting a little bit worn out and concerned. And of course, the nurses, it's serious business over there. Life and or death. And they have a lot to learn, so they can go out there and be the caregivers that we all need at one point or another. Somebody's going to have to interact with you in the medical system when you hit it. So I appreciate everything that they do over there. All right, well, what we are doing today is our final official speech, which is your speech about someone who's been inspiring in your life. They have taught you some important lessons. They've overcome some adversity from which you have learned. And so we're going to roll through these today, and I think we have about half the class starting today. Seems like we're in, I can't remember, Jasmine or Marianne, one of you two, I think you go. Do you go first? You go second. So Marianne, you go first. Okay. Well, come on up. The desk camera works, so if you need to project something, we'll set you up there, and then I'll head toward the back and watch it all happen. This is one of my favorite speeches, by the way, just because I like hearing about the people that have inspired you in life.
Okay. Sit.
Okay. We all have someone in our life who pushes us, shapes us, and silently teaches us how strong we're capable of being. For me, that person has always been my mom. So I'll show a picture of her right there. There she is. Today I get the lovely privilege to brag and tell you a little bit about my mother and why I see her as such an inspirational person in my life, and hopefully by the end of this speech you'll be able to see that too. I'm going to go over 3 main topics. First, I'll go over some basic background information about her, and then I'll share a memorable experience we have together, and then finally I'll share some of the qualities and actions that I think make her such an inspirational role model in my life. So, my mom's name is Miroslava. She usually goes by Slava, and she's currently working at Phillips 66 in Bartlesville as a financial advisor. She's married to my dad, Charles Alvey, and they have 2 kids, me and then my brother, who's 23, I'm 19. Some accomplishments and accolades that are worth mentioning is that she has 2 bachelors. One is in finance, and then another is in chemical engineering, which she got in Moscow, Russia. And then she has her master's degree in finance, which she's using right now in her job. And then in her free time, she loves playing pickleball on the weekends, doing hot yoga. She also likes to spend her time in like the Tulsa area around Utica Square and Whole Foods and all that fun stuff. And then I kind of mentioned this earlier, but another fun fact about her is that she is bilingual, so she's fluent in both English and in Russian. She lived in Moscow, Russia until she was about 27 she lived there until she was 27 years old. So she moved to the United States in her late 20s. A memorable experience that I want to share with you all happened when I was in high school. I had to get up early for a track meet, probably like 4 in the morning. I had to be there at 5, and I was driving myself at the time, so I was kind of on my own. And I'm like walking out to my car. It's like dark outside. It's like the crack of dawn. I open the door to our garage, and it's my parents working out. It's like, probably 4 in the morning. They're working out, music blasting. The vibes are high in there, and I'm just like dead, half asleep, and they're already sweating and laughing and completely fired up for their day. And instead of like being tired and irritated when I go to greet them, they're just have the biggest smiles like it was the middle of the afternoon. You wouldn't even think it was like 3:30 in the morning. So looking back, it showed me how much energy and discipline and positivity my parents bring into my life and into their lives every single day. And now that I'm older, I realize it wasn't just a moment, that's a small look into their lifestyle that they've lived for the past 20 years. So going into that, some qualities and actions that make my mom worth looking up to is number one, her discipline and drive. I want to emphasize discipline because she doesn't need motivation for anything. Obviously, motivation helps, but she is just one of the most disciplined women that I know. A good example is I just mentioned how she was up at 3:30 in the morning, getting her workout in before work. She's done that every day for the past like 20 years. I think they have their alarm set for 3:20 in the morning, because my mom goes into work at 6 a.m., so that's kind of the reasoning behind that. And then she drags my dad along with her, so my dad goes into a 9 to 5, so he ends up having to get up at 3:20 in the morning too with her. So he's up like 6 hours before his 9 to 5, but as long as, whatever makes my mom happy. So that's number one, her discipline and drive. I really admire that. And then number two, her caring heart. She's always telling me that, like, I want you to live a better life than I did, or I want this and that for you and all of this. And not saying that she lived a horrible life by any means, but it just kind of shows her pure intentions when somebody genuinely wants something better for you than of what they had. And then number three, I admire her independence, in the sense that she's done so much for herself and strives to rely on nobody. She's always telling me to be independent and that I need to run the show and all of this. She 100% gets this from living in from previously living in Russia and being the only child. I actually did a little bit of research on the cultural and social standards in Russia, and it showed that women have high standards for professional career, so much so that women in Russia have a higher percentage, or women in Russia have a higher percentage of holding university degrees and higher education degrees than men, which is kind of crazy. So additionally, women in Russia are not only expected to succeed in their professional career, but they're also expected to maintain domestic duties, cleaning, cooking, all of that, which she does. So a lot of these qualities that I admire in my mom are tied back to the Russian culture, and that makes me very proud to hold some of that heritage as well. And then to wrap up, I really cannot begin to describe the tremendous impact my mother has had on my life. The most I have to thank her for is taking care of me, number one. But number two, she's always expressed her unwavering support in my life despite any circumstance. And I think just being able to have one person that you can lean on and depend upon that can have your back no matter what is a blessing in and of itself. So because of her, I'm very career driven, I'm proud of my independence, and I always will aspire to have her drive and discipline. I will never see myself getting up at 3:20 in the morning to do any of my workouts, but I'll try to have the same determination as she does. She also has always taught me the importance of education and how that can never be taken from you, just knowledge and all of everything in relation to putting your time and effort into education is never going to be, it's an investment, you'll never regret it. So in every chapter of my life, my mom has been a symbol of strength, discipline, love, and resilience. She came from another country, built a life here, just coming from Russia to America, succeeded in her professional career, and still managed to take care of her family and put her family first. So thank you for letting me share a little bit of my heart with you all today. My mother is the reason I strive to be better, work harder, and be successful. And even if her story inspires one person in this room, I think I did my part. So, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Renee. Yay. Now remember, at the end, invite questions at the end. After you thank us, make sure that you give us a chance to ask a question. Okay, very good. Jasmine?
Have you ever had people in your life who changed you without even realizing they were doing it? Today I want to talk about two people who have shaped me in completely differently but equally powerful ways. My papa and my boyfriend. My purpose today is to share who they are, how they came into my life, and the qualities that make them so inspiring, and the impact they had on me. The first is my papa. His name is Jody Taylor. He was 58 years old when he passed away in August 2020. He was from Sperry, Oklahoma, and he kind of did like a flip a house, but with trailers. He fixed trailers for a living. He was a man whose love, strength, and kindness still stays with me every day, even though he's no longer here. His influence didn't end. It continues to show up in the way I act, think, and love others. My second person is my boyfriend. Xavier McKay, Z for short. He's 19 years old and he's a manager for Quick Trip. He is from and graduated from Inola, Oklahoma. He is someone who came into my life at a time when I didn't even know I needed him. His support, patience, and the way he cares for me makes him a daily reminder of what love can look like. There are different people in different chapters of my life, but both are equally important to who I am. I met my papa the day I was born. He's been with me from the very beginning. Some of my earliest memories include him teaching me, such as deer hunting, making me laugh, or just being the safe place I could always go to. Even now, I can still picture the way he looked at me when he was proud. I met my boyfriend at my first job, the Ross and Catoosa. When I met my boyfriend, that moment felt normal at the time, but it eventually turned into something so meaningful. It was the first time that he made me laugh on every shift, that turned into together, the warmth of feeling safe and always being happy felt good. My first impression of him was that he was different. He was someone who was gentle, real, and genuinely good, and I needed that in my life at that time. We are now together for 2 years. My papa inspired me through his strength, his kindness, and the way he always put his family first. He went through challenges such as healing from surgery, or being in pain all the time, or just going through a mental crisis such as depression. But he worked hard every day, put his family first, and had a way of making everyone feel valued. These qualities inspired me when I was younger and still inspire me today. My boyfriend impacts me in the present. He reminds me that I deserve someone who cares for me the way that my papa cared for me. He encourages my goals, listens to me when I'm overwhelmed, and brings happiness into my life. Because of him, I'm growing into a better version of myself, more confident, more hopeful, and more loved. Together, these two men have shaped the person I am today. My papa taught me strength and love, and my boyfriend shows me those same qualities everyday moments we share. They inspire me in different ways, but both are equally important to my heart and to my life. They remind me that inspirational doesn't always come from famous people or big achievements. It comes from the people that we love. Thank you for listening. I hope my story encouraged you to think about the people in your life who inspired you, those who lift you up, shape you, and stay with you no matter what. Any questions? Thank you.
Good job. That was your best speech yet. Really good. Next, Grace. Come on.
One thing that you hear all the time is parents want for their kids what they didn't have for themselves. And for my mom, that was giving her kids a stable and secure home and house environment and upbringing. So today I'm going to be talking about my mom, and I printed off this picture. I used all the toner in our printer, but this is from my first birthday. So there's me and my mom. My mom is the most resilient and determined person I know, and you can always count on her to be honest with you. Even if, you don't want to hear the truth, she'll always let you know how it really is. And that has really helped me because she'll always hold me accountable. She'll always give me the best advice. And even if I don't use it right then, I'll definitely need it later. And she helps me learn every day that it's okay to make mistakes, and you just have to be the best version of yourself, and you have to be honest, and you have to be true to yourself, and you have to give other people the same respect that you want for yourself. Growing up, my mom, she always told me that she felt like she had no home, and she lived in 8 different states by the time she graduated high school. She never stayed in one place for too long, and lots of people ask if she was not in a military family. It was just an unstable environment for her. And she always told us that her dream was to live in one place and have her kids grow up in one place. And me and my siblings, we've lived in the same house our whole life. We never had to move schools. We never had to be the new kid. And I owe that all to her and to my dad as well. But it was so important for her that we had a stable environment to where we could feel like we always had a home to come back to. And, since it's my mom, I don't have like a standout meeting story because like it's my mom. But when I was little, and I've noticed this too the older I've gotten, but she always made a point to treat kids like people too, because lots of people talk down to kids or treat them like they're an accessory, well, my kid does this and that, or they kind of treat their kids like not people. And my mom always treated us like our own individual people, and she always made time for us and let us. And when my little brother was born, like you're a jealous little kid and you're like, hey, like where's my, you used to be the youngest. It's like, what happened to that? And she always made sure that we all felt special and we all felt like our own individual person. And I try to uphold that same thing for everybody, and you have to treat everyone like their own person and appreciate everybody for their own qualities. And my mom's guidance has impacted almost every choice. She always, before I leave the house every day, she says, make good choices. And I always, every time I'm like, okay, Mom, like whatever. But every time before I do something, I always think back to my mom and I'm like, what would my mom think if I did that? And then, I always make a better choice because of her. So my encouragement to you all is the next time you do something, think about that person who's guided you, whether that's your mom or dad, your grandma, grandpa, whoever is like the guiding figure in your life. Next time you do something that they taught you, or, next time you fix a sink or bake a meal that they taught you how to do, I hope that you can think about how you're the person you are today because of them. And yeah, any questions? Thank you.
Yay, good job. Caden, you're actually ready?
I'm ready.
Look how you've matured this semester. Here you are, ready to go.
Okay.
This is a high school senior in evolution, right in front of your eyes, ladies and gentlemen. Beginning of the semester, clueless. End of the semester, on it. All liking it.
All right. Today I want to talk about the person that has inspired me the most. My dad. I have a picture of him right here. He's the short one on the left side with the red helmet.
Under the flag.
Yeah, right there.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Leave it up there so we can go back to it for a second. Don't just take it away.
Okay.
Our director's freaking out back here. What are you doing? You're taking my image away.
Okay. I want to share who he is, what he does, and how he has influenced me. I'll explain what it's been like growing up with him and what makes him inspiring. Okay. My dad has 4 kids, and I am the oldest of all. He went to college at Rogers State, which led him to be a firefighter. He has been a Tulsa fire captain for many years. His job requires long hours, unpredictable calls, and putting others first. Even with all that busy work, he always finds time for family. Visiting the fire station as a kid made me realize how important his job was. Even when I was a child, I felt proud to call him my dad, knowing he was someone people counted on meant a lot. My dad is calm, patient, and very hardworking. He told me stories about calls he's responded to, and some can be very traumatizing. Listening to these stories helps me to know what to do and what not to do. Things like staying calm under pressure or being there for people who are having the worst days. Watching how I handle stress and responsibility has influenced me how I deal with challenges. When things get overwhelming, I try to approach them the way he would. He pushes me to be responsible, to work hard, and to take things more seriously. He's had a big impact on the person I'm becoming, not because he tries to be inspirational, but because he leads by example. His example has shaped how I think, how I act, and how I want to approach my own future. I am grateful for the example he sets, and I'm proud to call him my dad. Thank you all for listening. I hope this has encouraged you. Are there any questions?
What's one story that you remember he has told you that you can share with us that gives us an example of what he's gone through that's inspired you? Don't start with
Sorry.
So you're almost there. You're still a high school senior. It's okay. We got some other in here too. One story.
Well, there's some pretty nasty ones,
I
but
don't wanna hear anything. I don't wanna hear any blood and gore, just something.
it's a hard one.
Can't really think of
I
one?
can't think of one off the top of my head.
Okay, well, I put you on the spot.
That
Sorry.
weren't very
I was just curious.
nasty. Those are the only ones I remember because
Of course, they're graphic. Okay, let's give them a hand. There you go, Katie. I put you on the spot. It's okay. Who's next? Alyssa. Now, when you use these images, I don't know what your phone's set to, but you wanna make sure your phone is not set to turn off in 5 seconds or something like that.
Did mine do that?
It did.
No.
So, that's okay. So we learn as we go.
Have you ever had someone in your life who just gets you? Someone who shows up for you in ways that honestly feels life-changing? For me, that person is my Aunt Megan. Is it the right way for you guys? Today I'm going to tell you a little about who she is, how she became basically my second mom, and how she has taught me about God, life, and even rodeo. I'll walk you through who she is, how we got close, and the qualities that make her so inspiring, and the impact she's had on me. My aunt's name is Megan, and she has been My aunt's name is Megan, and she has been a very important part of my life since I was born. She's the aunt that feels like a cool older sister, except she also has the responsibilities, or has the knowledge to tell me, hey, you're doing something that's pretty dumb. She's deeply rooted in her faith, and she lives in such a genuine way that it's impossible not to feel inspired by her. She's also amazing at rodeo, which honestly tells you a lot about her. She's tough, dedicated, and not afraid to face a challenge. What makes her so special to me isn't just what she's accomplished, it's the way she cares for people, the way she teaches, and the way she loves people. Obviously, I didn't meet her for the first time as an adult, but I've known her my whole life. But some of the earliest memories of her are at rodeos. Story I kind of remember that just is kind of the thing that made us close is I went to a rodeo with my aunt and my uncle. My parents were out of town, and I had never been away from my parents like that before. And of course, the one time that I'm not with them, I get thrown off my horse and I break my arm. The first person that was there to me was my Aunt Megan. She took me to the ER. I had a broken arm, I had to get a cast, but she took me home and she said, you have to get back on that horse. Because if you live in the country lifestyle or rodeo lifestyle, you know, if you don't get back on your horse, that horse knows that they've won and they will do it again. So it's just like she showed me that you have to do something. She shows me commitment. What inspires me most about her is that her qualities of compassion, her determination, and her relationship with God. She doesn't just talk about her faith, she lives it out in her real everyday life. I've seen her pray before a barrel run, help people who are struggling, and speak truth into my life even though I didn't know I needed it. And her resilience. It shows every time she competes. Rodeo is no joke. You fall, you fail, and sometimes you just get hurt. But she pushes herself, and she pushes me too, but in the most encouraging way. My Aunt Megan has helped shape me into who I am today. She's the person I go to when I'm stressed, confused, or just need someone to remind me that God's got me. She's taught me to trust myself, to work hard, and to have faith even when things don't make sense. She's also the reason I fell in love with rodeo. She encouraged me through every nervous moment, celebrated every win with me, and reminded me that those losses don't define me. Because of her, I've grown as a rider, and honestly, just as a person. She inspires me to be stronger, kinder, and more grounded in my beliefs. So to wrap it up, my aunt isn't just an inspiring person. She's one of the biggest influences in my life. She's taught me about faith, courage, and confidence in a way that I'll carry with me forever. I wouldn't be who I am without her. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Tell us that line you said. You said, you fall, you fail, but you keep on going or something like that.
Yeah, so rodeo is no joke. You fall, you fail, and sometimes you get hurt. But she always tells me to get back up and try again.
Okay, good. That's a good one. All right, let's hear it for her. Okay, Bailey is next.
When I think about the person who inspires me most, the one who immediately comes to mind is my mom. Should I fix it?
Tilt it just a little bit. It looks like you have like white face. I don't know if it's gonna make it any better. It's okay, it's just what it is.
Okay.
Looks like you have white makeup on your face. Okay. I think you can fix that thing. We're gonna dial down the.
Yeah, I was thinking we could just, oh no, the light was off.
Oh, not gonna help much. Okay, well, here's what it is. That's a little better.
Okay.
You dial down the contrast or brightness of your phone and like do it. Can you make your phone less bright?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better. Much
Okay.
better. There you go.
She's not only my biggest supporter, but she's the calmest, most patient person I know. Today, I want to share how her kindness and resilience have shaped me into who I am and taught me how to face life's challenges with grace. My mom's name is Amber, and she's 45 years old. Her dad, my grandpa, has started a roofing company a while back, and she's been helping out with it since she was 18. Over time, she's become the face of the business and truly helped it grow. On top of being a mother of 3, she's an incredibly dedicated businesswoman. In 2023, she even won an Empress Award for customer satisfaction. And under her leadership, the business became the #1 roofing company in the area. But beyond all of her accomplishments, what inspires me most is the way she carries herself. She is patient and humble, the kind of person who never raises her voice, yet always earns people's respect. She's the heart of our family and the calm that keeps everyone grounded, including me. Well, obviously I met my mom on the day I was born, but I feel like I truly got to know her during one of the harder times of our lives. About 10 years ago, my mom and dad decided to separate. It wasn't dramatic, but she simply realized the relationship was no longer good for her, and she made the incredibly hard decision to leave. She knew it was the right thing to do for herself, for my dad, and for us kids. That decision alone taught me what boundaries really mean. She didn't leave out of anger, but she had enough self-respect to leave. And even though I was young, I could tell she was strong for doing it. Through it all, she stayed calm and patient. She never once spoke badly about my dad. She never complained, and she never took her anger out on us. Instead, she put all of her energy into working harder at the company and raising me and my brothers. Her dedication during this time completely changed her life. And looking back now, it's clear that the split ended up being a turning point in her life. And I'm happy to say that my parents have since then found their way back to each other, and they were remarried at the beginning of this year. And now, 10 years after that difficult chapter, she is starting her next one. In January, she'll officially take over as president of the company, and I couldn't be more proud of her. She turned one of the hardest moments in her life into an opportunity to grow and become even stronger. Her story reminds me that sometimes in life, the best thing you can do is step back, work on yourself, and come back stronger. My mom has always had a way of keeping me humble, even when I didn't want to hear it. When I was in middle and high school, I faced a lot of conflict at school, and I'd often come home upset, expecting her to comfort me and agree the other person was in the wrong. But instead, she'd always say, "You never know what's going on in their life." That saying used to frustrate me because I thought she didn't care. But over time, I came to realize she was teaching me one of the most important lessons in my life, that not everything's about me. That mindset has stuck with me ever since. She taught me that I can't control every situation, but I can control how I react. She also showed me that patience does not mean letting people walk all over you, but knowing when to stay calm and when to let go. Because of her, I've learned how to set boundaries while also staying patient and understanding. This lesson really came full circle when I was in my first relationship. I cared a lot for my boyfriend, but I started to notice the same patterns in him as my dad. I decided to leave, and now, of course, I was heartbroken, but in this moment, I thought about my mom, how she made the same choice with my dad and trusted it was for the best. Following her example, I found the strength to do the same, and I used that pain from the breakup as motivation to focus on myself and grow. My mom has been the most patient and inspiring person in my life. She's taught me to stay calm in the storm and to see the good in people. I admire her not just for what she's accomplished, but for the strong, humble person she is. And watching where she is now, happily remarried and about to become president of a company, it proves that even the hardest moments can lead to the best chapters of your life. There's a verse in the Bible that reminds me a lot of her that I'd like to share with you all today. It's from 1 Corinthians 13:4, and it reads, "Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud." Thank you all for listening. Are there any questions?
No? Good. Very, very good. Kendall, that puts you up next. Bailey, that was really good. I'll say something to you while Kendall's getting up there. It's always good to use Bible verses or any kind of phrase that's inspirational. What I try and get people to do though is memorize that verse, so that when you're saying it with conviction and you're making people believe it instead of reading it. Not that reading is bad, but you do have the force of your memory and really being able to express it to people. That's all I'm saying. And you slowed down well, so that was good. Sort of.
I didn't realize I was being raised by the strongest person I'd ever known until I was old enough to understand her sacrifices. I want to talk to you about the most inspiring person in my life, which is my mom. I want to share the story of her strength and love and how that has shaped who I am. From my first breath, she has been the definition of resilience, raising me and my brother with care, love, honesty, and determination. I'll explain who my mom is, the qualities that make her so inspiring, and the impact she's had on my life by showing me the kind person that I should strive to be. My mom's name is Candace Howell, Candace Howell Keybone. She's the person that has shaped my life more than anybody else. She is a hardworking Native woman who has spent years raising me and my little brother almost entirely on her own. She has balanced long work hours, multiple jobs, and every responsibility and chaotic thing that life threw at her. My mom has won the 40 Under 40 Award, which it is a prestigious honor given by the National Center of American and Indian Enterprise Development, and that is to recognize 40 exceptional Native American and First Nation leaders under the age of 40 for their leadership, initiative, and contributions to their communities and professions. Her biggest accomplishment that matters the most to me, though, is that she created a stable home, keeping our family together, and showing me and my brother what resilience, honesty, determination, and dedication truly look like. She's significant to me because she didn't just provide to us, she taught me how to carry myself, how to push through doubt, and how to be proud of who I am. Everything that I've achieved, it all traces back to her strength, her sacrifices, and the way that she never stopped believing in me. My mom inspires me because she has spent her entire life quietly carrying the weight of two people, doing everything she could to raise me and my little brother, even when it felt like the world was stacked against her. She's had basically lived as a single mom, working long hours, multiple jobs, handling every crisis, and still finding the strength to show up for me and my brother every day. There are many moments that'll always stay with me, like whenever she came home at nights, exhausted from work. She still has her clothes on, and I would decide that would be the perfect time to tell her that I have a school project the next day. She would get a little upset with me and tell me that I need to have better time management when telling her these things, but she would still sit down on the floor with me and help me finish my school project that night. Even when she could barely keep her eyes open, she would still smile and keep going and tell me that she never wanted me to feel alone or unsupported. Growing up, I saw her struggle, but I never fully grasped it until looking back, being older now. She never wanted me or my brother to worry about quote-unquote grown-up issues. She just wanted us to be kids. And that was who she was. She is someone who puts love into action even when she's running on nothing. Watching her sacrifice and her determination has taught me what real strength looks like and has pushed me to be more responsible, more compassionate, and more grateful for everything. Her example, it doesn't just shape me, it influences the way I treat other people. Because she showed me that the strongest people are the ones who keep giving, loving, caring, and showing up even when life doesn't make it easy, because life isn't going to be easy. The impact my mom has had on my life shows up in everything I've worked for and become. She taught me resilience, and that's what pushed me to keep running through college, even when I doubted myself and wanted to quit multiple times. Her voice was always in my head, reminding me that I was stronger than what I thought. She always wanted to build me to be a strong, independent person that didn't have to rely on other people besides strong connections. That same confidence is what gave me the courage to also run for my tribe's princess. It's something I never would have believed in or never would have even thought to do until she told me to just go ahead and try it. Every goal that I've reached comes from the strength that she's modeled. Showing me growth comes from showing up even on hard days. Because of her, I try to be kinder, more determined, and have discipline. She inspires me to become a better person every day, and the kind of person that she works so hard to raise. In closing, my mom has been the strongest and most inspiring force in my life. Her resilience in raising me and my little brother, her sacrifices and the way she's never stopped believing in us, are the reasons I am who I am today. She taught me what determination, love, honesty, and dedication look like in action, and her influence continues to guide my every choice that I make. My mom is proof that the most inspiring people in our lives aren't always famous. They can be our professors, our friends, or family members who quietly shape us into the better versions of ourselves. And for me, that inspiring person will always be her. Thank you for listening to me. I want to encourage you all to think about the people in your life who have shaped you like the way that my mom has shaped me. Sometimes our greatest source of strengths aren't the people that everybody else notices. They're the ones who show up for us quietly and consistently with love. Any questions or comments?
Good job. Sarah. Okay, Jesse, hop up there. Now, Jesse, I'm hoping to get you and Hunter in here by the end today. But Hunter, I don't want to cut you off, so you may get bumped to Wednesday. Okay, just letting you know. All right, Jesse, take off.
Okay.
Have y'all ever met someone you would trust with your life, but you would tackle if they tried to give a speech at your wedding? That's my buddy Dathan that I'll be talking about today. And I apologize that this picture is a little bit beat up. I keep it in my wallet.
He's upside down.
Oh.
You bring it down a little bit the other way. There you go.
I'll be talking about why I feel like that, who he is, and the impact he had on my life today. It's still a shock to me that we ever did become friends with just how different we are. I met him around my freshman year, a time where I was still finding myself in the yarn ball of anxiety I was. I was a straight-A student who would cry if I lost a library book, with a small circle of friends, who of which grew outwards as I tried my best to make myself smaller and smaller to please people. And then there was Dathan, a class clown, a grade above me that knew everybody. And if he didn't, he made an attempt to know them. He did football, tried out band, and did anything that interested him freely. He'd often battle a bit with teachers, but often in a way that most couldn't stay mad at him. We shared an overlapping friend group, so when he realized we had never spoken a word to each other, he grabbed me out of the wall I was trying to camouflage into to know why. And despite a lot of the glaring differences, temperament-wise, we shared some interests, our common love of horror movies and cryptids. And that was enough of an excuse for him to keep grabbing me out of the shadows to talk. He'd occasionally rag on me or playfully push me around, and at first I would just cower or agree because it's what I've been taught to do. Till he'd say, no, try again, and try again. And he'd continue the push until I would say something snarky or push back. I remember one time he was making fun of me like, they named you Jesse Jones? Like, last name Jones, you sound like a comic book character. And he just would keep pushing and pushing and pushing until I would finally say something back. And I said, darn it, or who names their son Dathan? What does the D stand for? Darn it, I forgot the N. And he taught me kind of how to fight for myself a bit. He wasn't trying to bring me down by pushing back, but to rather build me up and teach me that skill. I don't have a very good relationship with my folks, and I'm the oldest sibling out of two, so he was really the first positive male role model I ever had. And he taught me that masculinity isn't about trying to be the biggest and the toughest and the strongest, but rather about being humble and stepping up for those who need you. He's a big family man. He babysits his cousins, his nephews, nieces, his sisters, and would do almost anything for them, and I really envy that. He's a man of faith and very confident in that, but he's never pushed that on me, knowing my upbringing, but has always offered to, like, if I need someone to go to church with, or if I need someone to work out with, or anything like that, he's made sure to be there for me. Around 2 years ago, going on 3 years ago, and he introduced me to a lot of new people I otherwise wouldn't have talked to, just because he's that kind of person. Whether like we're at the carnival or wherever, he sees like an interesting looking stranger, he goes up and talks to them. My worst fear ever. And has a conversation with them. So I've met a lot of new people through him. And around 3 years ago, he introduced me to a friend of ours named Riley. I only got to know her for about the better part of a year before she passed in a car wreck.
Spin that around the other way.
I'm sorry. She's the girl with black hair. And once again, I only got to really know her well for about a year. Dathan was a lot closer to her than I was. And I remember at her visitation, just being in that room with all those people I didn't know too well. I'm, very emotionally taken aback. I can't believe it's real. And he was there for me and just let me cry in his arms when it all came down. And I remember her funeral, and that it's okay to cry. It's okay to express to have emotions like that. He's just been a very supporting force for me. I remember when I told him I'm going to college, I'm the first one in my family to go to college, the first one out of my group of friends to really go, that how supportive he was and how proud of me he was. I remember the second day I went, he was putting flowers on Riley's grave and telling me how proud of me she must have been. I just remember breaking down. He's not perfect. He's always been a bit impulsive, and he's had some of his own issues with vices, but I'm really proud of him for overcoming that. Just I'm really happy I have him in my life. If there's anything you take away from this today, don't be afraid to live your life. That's something Dathan's really taught me, that it's not worth it trying to cower in, trying to please people, trying to just be invisible. Live your life, you only get one. Talk to as many people as you can. Do as many things as you can, and just don't be afraid to live. Thank you. Any questions?
I don't think so. Let's hear it. Let's hear it today, because I don't want you to have to just race through it in 2 or 3 minutes, okay? So we're gonna start with you on Wednesday. What do we have here, like 2 minutes?
Left. Good job, everybody. I think it's inspiring to hear you all talk about inspiring people in your lives. And there's a lot of lessons that we get from these speeches that I think are very inspiring. And I really like hearing them. And one of the common themes in this whole sequence of speeches is resilience, and developing that sense of resilience when things go wrong, which they inevitably will. It's not what happened, it's how you respond to what happened. And I thought Alyssa brought that whole thing up. You fall off your horse, you don't get back on the horse knows it's got you in its power. But a lot of people just said really powerful things. I think it was Grace that said, don't treat kids like they're an accessory. Did you say that? Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting and positive statement. And also, you never know what's going on in somebody's life. Was that you, Bailey? What your mom said, it's very stoic. There's a famous Greek philosopher, his name is Marcus Aurelius. Actually, he's not Greek, he's a Roman dude, Marcus Aurelius. And he talks a lot about that. Just that you can't control other people. And other people are going to do dumb stuff. You can't stop that. But what you really control is how you respond to them. And it's not about you at all. It's whatever they have going on in their life. So I thought that those were really important lessons. Someone else said pushing through doubt. I really like that one. That might have been Kendall saying pushing through doubt. I don't remember which one of you got to that point. That we all have doubt, but how do you get through that? You believe in yourself. And that's why I said on somebody's, don't say sorry. I think maybe Alyssa or somebody said sorry. Don't say that. Our brain hears us. I was watching a neurologist talk about our brain plasticity, the neuroplasticity. When you start to believe you are something and act like you're something, your brain doesn't know that you aren't that. So if you tell yourself you're the greatest guitar player in the world, Bailey, your brain starts to hear that and think, yeah, maybe I am. But if you say, oh, I'm just a sorry sack of horse feathers, then your brain starts to think that as well. So you want to say positive things to yourself, and you become what you think you are. And so that's why it's important to have that good self-image. And we get that good self-image from our positive role models. So I know we're about out of time here. We're going to come back on Wednesday, and we're going to really try and get through the rest of them. So we'll see you then.